This is Keeper, and welcome to the podcast. This is episode 16 of the podcast, This is for the Brothers, a look behind my upcoming book, Helplessness, where I explored with different guests different aspects of the book. It has been quite a journey. In many ways, it's been just as challenging as it was for me writing the book, which took over 6 years. To go back through in live time talking to people about the past for me and my family, the molestations that took place and how it impacted me and my sisters and how it just broke apart relationships and the struggles, the 45, 50-year journey to try to bring all that back together. It has reopened wounds. It has helped heal others. It has brought on questions and ideas and concepts I hadn't thought of. And speaking to some of my brothers and sisters, even questions for them that they hadn't thought of. As those of you who have gone through this podcast, it is incumbent to understand you are now part of the journey. You are an active participant in the journey of children who have been sexually molested because you are aware of it. You know what to look for. You know what the challenges are going forward. What's at stake. So for anyone who has watched this, one episode or all 16 episodes, let me say I appreciate it. It is not the easiest topic in the world to digest. Oftentimes it is said at the Thanksgiving table, there are a few topics you never bring up. You never bring up politics. You never bring up religion. You never bring up who owes who money. You never bring up whose love life is going where and doing what. But with all those topics, those are topics that you actually can bring up if you want. There is one topic, however, that is never, ever discussed. Excuse me. And that topic leaves behind millions of children because we as adults do not talk about it. And that obviously is child sexual abuse, especially child sexual abuse that takes place in the home. We have got to come to grip with this global problem. And children are suffering simply because adults are remaining silent because it is uncomfortable to talk about. As I close out this podcast, I would like to thank a few special people who helped make it happen. I'd like to thank my good friend Gene Bronstein, radio personality who interviewed me for the very first episodes of the podcast. I would like to thank also my good friend George Kennedy, Dr. Yvonne Merrill, who brought in a different way of looking at it from the concept, Dr. Yvonne Merrill, who I'm talking about, from the concept of language and how we have to be careful when we weaponize our language, especially brothers and sisters. Obviously, I'd like to thank my son who helped take me through a very challenging interview process. He brought questions that I was simply not ready for, and it just brought about a visceral reaction for me that I wasn't expecting. I'd like to thank my big brother Glynn, who for the first time really sat down and talked about this. He's talked about it in one of the podcasts with me and my son Ben. And then obviously this particular one, this 4 episode one, with me and my third sister Louise and my older brother Glynn. This particular 4-part episode, the last 4, it is incredibly special. It is incredibly important because you get to see people being honest and willing to address answers or give answers to questions that are very uncomfortable. But the whole process here was about being uncomfortable. I mentioned at the end, or I will mention at the end of this episode, that I did reach out to my mother. I wanted to give her an opportunity to speak, to finally say something, because our story does not have to end in tragedy. It could be something that is used for good. And I will share with you what she said. I emailed her and we had a couple emails back and forth. So at the end of this particular episode, you will get a chance to hear some of the things that she said. With that said, this is the last episode. Like the other three with my sister Louise, it has its challenging moments, but it just ends in a really, really good way. It really does. You'll get a chance to see just how it can work if brothers and sisters are willing to talk to each other and sisters are willing to invite brothers into the conversation that we are so often left in the dark about. So that's it for this particular series of episodes, but know that there will be more. There's a lot more to discuss with more people. Thanks for watching. This is for the brothers. And Then There Were Six by Keeper Catran-Whitney. The oldest Whitney, a boy aged 7, the babysitter eyed. Rub my breast with alcohol and cotton, watch me masturbate, and then there were 5. Rub me, she said to the second oldest boy, aged 6, it's your daily chore. She spreads in front of him 2, and then there were 4. Of the 4 little Whitney girls, stepfather sexually molested the oldest with glee. Imagining the second oldest undressed, stepfather, when done, left 3. 3 little Whitney girls left. He preyed on the second eldest 2. Unclothed and frightened in a dark closet, eyes closed, then zip. Leaving the last 2. Your mother knows it's okay, my sweet. Drugged, unconscious, he took the 3rd one, having spiked her drink in the car. Rape, forced abortion, left only the last one. One night with the youngest Whitney girl, the wealthy Arab oil man pleaded it will be fun. Have her for a powder blue van, says Mom, making 6 of 8, now all done. The 3rd Whitney boy, invited home by his male teacher. Mom finally steps up and steps in. Why? This one was a sin. The 4th Whitney boy escaped the torment of molestation. However, still traumatized today, still seeking retribution and salvation. My siblings and I are not unique, you know. We are but 8 of millions. 50 years as victims found courage to share our story. No longer frightened, beaten, or children. What happens to brothers when never asked, do you need to talk? How are you doing? Confused, we try to make sense of it all, without a voice, our guilt ever brewing. I am a brother who hopes all brothers, with the weight of guilt a continual test, will pass from helplessness to hopefulness to happiness, unlike millions who never rest.
Yeah. This whole, it's like you watch this whole thing play out, these, choices that you make have those real family consequences that are generational. Exactly. And this is, kind of like why you're doing this too, to save other generations from going through the same thing.
As, you're trying to stop a cycle.
Yeah.
But there's so much in the cycle.
Yes.
There's so much that's going back and forth. I've been wanting to ask you a question, and I guess it would go for all, well, for three of you at least.
Right.
Why do you talk to us today, knowing
Oh,
all
I'll tell you
that
why.
we've done and could have done and didn't do? Why?
Mm-hmm. Well, in about 90 or 91, I was having lunch in Santa Monica with a group of friends, and some people in our family who wanted to kill Henry. I was one of those, and I wanted to. And I thought it was in my destiny to, at some point in life. I'm having lunch. Who walks into the restaurant but Henry? And I stopped dead in my tracks when I saw him. I was like, oh my gosh, today's the day. Today's the day I'm going to kill him. There's no other reason for him to be. It was like he was brought in like a lamb to slaughter. I'm going to follow him home. And I'm going to kill this man. Because that's the only reason why he's here. I said to my friends, I'll be right back. I went outside, went into my car, sat down in my car. I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. You know, I'm planning the whole thing. And as I continue to sit in the car, probably 30 minutes has gone by. And I'm like, man, it's going to take the hand of God to reach down out of heaven and stop me today. Because I'm going to kill him. And I continued sitting in the car. And then next thing you know, and about an hour goes by. And it was really like the hand of God reached down and stopped me. But he didn't just do that. In that moment, I forgave Henry. I forgave Miss Whitney. I forgave you boys. And it all, wow. It was incredible. By the time I got out of the car, I was not angry anymore. Literally. It was gone. That's why I can talk about it today.
Jeez.
That is why I can talk about it today. Something happened to inside that car. That was supernatural. That was from God. Stopped me from following him and killing him, but freed me at the exact same moment. That's why I can talk to you. I do not like Miss Whitney. I will not have her in my life, but I've always said, if she was homeless, if something happened to her, I would be there. I wouldn't let her be like that. But it wouldn't be in my house, right? I would make sure that she wasn't homeless. I would right? Henry, he's gone. He's gone. What you guys did, that's all gone. But there's a heart with yours. You know, I got soft towards you guys. I didn't get soft towards them. I forgave them and moved on. You guys, it was different. Because I was given an understanding about you guys that I didn't have before that. And it all happened in that car. So and then that whole process of getting stronger with it, and it just kept growing. So that by the time you called me to do the everything, I was like, sure, we can do that.
Yeah, when you opened the door, it was like crazy Louise.
Yeah.
You were trying to, Nikki, like what? I was afraid to come over. I sat in your parking lot for 30 minutes. Everybody told me before I even came upstairs. I'm in the car sweating, the air conditioning is on. I'm telling Patty I'm scared. I don't want to do this. She is not, because you gave me no indication
Right.
of what your attitude was toward me.
Right.
I remember telling Patty I'm coming back home. Just tell Louise I got stuck on the freeway.
Yeah.
For this podcast, Is it important for brothers and sisters to come together and talk about this stuff and possibly even become allies moving forward in how they can help each other get through it? Do you think that
it's extremely important? It is so important because what ends up happening is just, brothers are making assumptions about their sisters, the sisters are making assumptions about their brothers, and it's usually wrong.
Right.
But it doesn't feel like that at the time. I totally thought,
of course,
I had your number.
Right.
But we did things.
You did things.
You
did.
That is inescapable.
Right. But where I thought your hearts were is not where your heart was. You messed up. You made bad decisions. But that's not where your heart was. And I think, if brothers and sisters can talk about that, because I loved you guys like crazy, And so I wanted to, I wanted to too. And I think brothers want to too.
Right.
So that's why it's really important to have those conversations and to not shut down and to not assume that one side wants you to shut up and the other one doesn't,
Even when you're told to shut up?
Even when you're told to shut up. Even when you're told to shut up, because that's just a protection thing.
Yeah, like I said, it becomes a blanket.
Right, you're right. It's the warm
that's
blanket.
it. Oh, that's the ultimate excuse that I need. They said don't.
Exactly. They said don't, so I won't.
Right.
But no. And the same with me. One of my brothers said, shut up about it and get over it. And so I'm not going to say anything anymore to any of them, right?
Right.
But I should have kept talking.
I do want to answer a question that you asked that I don't believe we answered. You asked, and I think it's important that it be answered. What were we thinking about?
Yeah.
You guys, we never answered that question, and it needs to be answered.
Yeah.
And whatever the answer is, I didn't give any thought to it.
Oh. Wow. That's what I thought.
We said, don't talk about it. Okay.
That's what I thought.
And you asked a question, and before you even asked this question today, I never even thought about that question. And so it hit me as you're asking. I never thought about what they were going through during that. And I'm sorry. Because it was like, okay, well, they've moved on. They don't want us to talk about it. Now they've moved out. So I guess they're happy. But that's an excuse. I didn't. And it wasn't until you asked the question today, and I had to come back to it because you needed that answer. And I needed to tell you, truthfully, what was going on. I didn't. So I guess we're not friends anymore. After all this at the end.
That's incredible.
It was easy, to tell you the truth. I'm just being honest. It was the path of least resistance.
Right.
It's all so many cliche phrases. I didn't think about it. I didn't think about what you guys were going through.
For me, Mom, her actions made it easy to not dwell on it. And when you guys started protecting yourselves, taking care of yourselves, when you guys started making decisions that were for your own benefit, you got to move out. Tracy's moving out. Cookie's moving out. When you guys started making those decisions, it was like, well, okay, I guess they're doing okay.
Wow.
I guess they're doing all right. And, you know,
don't think about
following the leader,
Yeah.
just, it's like, okay, well, mom's a woman. She's got to know what they're going through. She's got to know this. So if she's not tripping about it, then I guess they're okay.
But they're over there thinking, what are they thinking about us?
Right.
Oh, wow.
How can they still be doing this?
Right. Wow. Wow.
And so that's when I got into.
I just had to come back and like we did not answer that question for her, and it's an important question for her and the other three sisters. It has to be.
Wow.
This is about being honest
Wow.
and truthful. That's what this conversation is supposed to be for, because hopefully we can be an example to other families and certainly other Black families. You know, there's just so many things. I hadn't thought about it until you said it. Like, you didn't. It's another act of betrayal. Wow. On my part.
There's so much that gets caught up in it, and so much gets lost.
I'm sorry.
Right. Wow.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You lose so much. So much is taken from you. So much is controlled that you have no idea.
What I learned about you and LaWanda, it made me keep reflecting back on when you guys left on Victoria. And I remember when you guys decided to leave, I was a wreck. It just wrecked me that you guys left. I was like,
He was a mess.
the twins are gone.
He would walk around for days saying
They're just
that's what
gone.
he said. He was
And
bad.
of course, not knowing what the reason was for, and then these past couple of years finding out why, I was like, what else could they do?
Of course, they have.
My sisters are the bravest people in the world to me. All four of you guys. Because to have gone through the experiences you guys have, and you guys can still love us.
What we've gone through is nothing by comparison. It is nothing.
And it's still the only thing that saved me. Cookie and Tracy, because we were still communicating, they saved me. I don't even know where I'd be. I've told Nick this a number of times. I don't know where I'd be without them. And the fact that you are here now, I just can't put it into words what it means to have you back. I cannot put it into words. Because it was always, I don't have my little sisters. They aren't with us. And everything we did, all the family stuff we were still doing, you guys weren't there. And if you guys had been there, it would have been so much more fun.
Mm-hmm. The times we talked about how much more fun it would have been.
Much.
But it turns out we were the cause of it.
Wow. Wow.
Well, like he says, we are here. She's going back. She's going to leave today. He didn't even think. I bet I knew I left for a good reason. He better not come into a restaurant while I'm in there. Woo. I don't know if an hour's going to be enough after that.
That's incredible that you went through that metamorphosis in the car.
Well, I know our older sister tried to commit suicide.
I don't doubt that. Yeah.
Yeah. Over this stuff.
Yes.
Um,
Well, I always say that God saved my life.
Mm-hmm.
He saved my sanity.
Right.
I should be, like you said in the car today, I should be crazy.
Yep.
I should be gone, just far gone. But I think that, God just preserved my mind for a reason. He preserved my life for a reason. And he kept me from doing something very evil to return evil. He kept me from doing that.
Imagine what that would have felt like.
Exactly. Oh.
Well, it'd be like, imagine if I had actually killed him.
Right.
There's just no way. We wouldn't have come back from either one of those.
That's right.
No.
Or if Tracy had actually committed suicide, we would not have come back from any of it.
Exactly.
And, like you said, you had those thoughts. That's got to be my way out.
Mm-hmm.
If any one of those three, and I don't know about our youngest sister, if she ever had those.
She did.
Okay.
She did.
We wouldn't be sitting here today. We wouldn't be able to use our story to potentially help other little kids.
Yeah.
To that end, I sent an email to your mother on Thursday.
What'd you tell her?
I told her that my book will be coming out soon. It's going through its last editing, and that I am doing a podcast. A behind the look at what happened to us. And that I believe, because many women have asked me, is your mother going to ever talk? And so I have been thinking about it. I don't want it to be said that I didn't offer her the opportunity.
Right.
So I emailed her and told her our story does not need to end in tragedy. It can be a story that can help many little boys and girls. Because some little child was molested in the home yesterday, or one is being molested by a parent right now, or one little girl is going to bed tonight and someone's walking in their door to molest them. The story of what happened to our sisters, you can actually use this for good. Would you be willing to come on the podcast and talk about it? Now, understand, I'm not looking to beat anyone up, because that doesn't serve the greater good. However, we do need to go back to the past and go over some ground. Would you be willing to do this, because your time is running out? So I sent her an email, and she emailed me back. And I told her in the first email, I don't expect you to answer this, because you haven't answered anything before. You won't talk about it to anyone.
That's right.
To this day. And she read it, and she said, basically, so what is it that you're asking of me? Which is laid out very clearly in the email. So I emailed her back and said, I am asking if you will come on the podcast. We can do a phone discussion. Patty and I will be in Vegas in July. We're going to see Uncle Harry and Aunt Barbara. I can come to your place, and we can talk about what happened and how our story can save other families, and especially other little kids, and help brothers understand and help sisters understand they need to talk. They need to get through this. I haven't heard back on that one. I sent her another one this morning. I haven't heard back. But that would really be closing the circle.
Wow.
And it is a great opportunity for her. Because I told her, I said, you can take this to the end of days for you. You're going to be carrying this. This is your opportunity, as I also said, to talk to your children. It's not going to clean up a lot, but what it will do is that she did say something. I don't know if it's going to, how much honesty will be there.
Right.
But I wanted to give her the opportunity to talk. And I also told her, you might not be aware, but in January of 2019,
Right.
Glynn and I
Henry.
went to this church in Van Nuys.
You told her.
And we confronted Henry. We went there for retribution, and we went there for closure, and we went there for our sisters. I don't know that you're aware of that. Not only did we confront him, but we confronted David.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And we met Henry's son, Zay, who was born in 1972 in San Diego while he was going down to Cal Biochem and married to you. He has really nice children. But Zay refuses to leave his children alone with Henry.
Ah.
I wonder why.
Yep.
And I put it in the email. So that was the news I had at the end.
Wow.
Wow.
I wanted it to be something to say, okay, I did everything I could.
Right.
I didn't leave anyone out.
Right.
We're hearing from our sisters. We're hearing from our brothers. We're hearing from our children. We're hearing from an educator. We're hearing from a policy person on this stuff. We're hearing from different people. But there's one woman, she asked, is your mother? What the dog? There.
That sounds like a long shot.
Right.
Yeah,
But you took it.
I took it. They cast us a lifeline.
Yeah.
As we said, they reeled us in, which you guys did.
Absolutely.
Any parting words for this?
Just that, thank you for doing it. It can only bring us closer. I've learned stuff about you guys that I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
You've learned stuff about me that I didn't know. And it wouldn't have happened if you didn't take this very scary step. Because I know where you went to get this done.
Yeah, I know you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I still go there from time to time. And I do really hard stuff from time to time, as long as I'm still editing and doing this.
Yeah.
It was obligation to you four. That's my feeling about it. I was obligated. I had to do it. As you know, I never attempted anything like writing a book. But this was the one I needed to do. I had to give you guys something. And as I said, everything with Ben, I need you guys to be proud of me with this stuff. That I did come back to clean up some of it. I know I can't clean up all of it, but it was important that I give you something, that I did step into the big brother role, even though you got that other fella in North Carolina, that new guy. And I needed to give voice for other brothers. And you were one of the ones who were like, yes, Nick, I haven't heard about this sort of thing from a brother. I can find stuff on women all day talking about this. So it was a lot of your encouragement. Yes, we need to have this. So I'll say what I've got to say at the end. It still comes back, a lot of it, to you encouraging me to do this. And look at what I've written and say, yes, you got it right. This is it. Keep going. Don't stop. And Cosette was the same way. Granted, she would have a hard time reading it still. but you were pushing to make sure that I got it done.
Your willingness to step into the void for the amount of time that you have. I cannot tell you how many times I've been driving along and I just think about you and what you're going through to write this, because you can't do it surfacely. You have to go to the bottom, all the way down, and you gotta languish there, and you have to soak up everything that's down there, every little dirty bit, every little ugly piece, and you have to sort your way through it, and then you have to bring yourself back up out of it. And to have done that for this amount of time is amazing. I don't know that I could do it.
And be a dad and be a husband.
Yeah, I don't.
A good dad, a good husband, and a good partner.
Because how do you shake it off at the end of the day? I mean, it's just amazing that you did it.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's something that we all can take gratification from, and help us move forward. That I appreciate what you said, but that was not the reason for it. I wasn't looking for any accolades or anything. I just felt that a family that thought music was going to be their gift to the world, it turns out this could be the gift. And the more we can talk about it, the more of us that can sit down and then talk about it, the more we can give to the world. I love you, Louise. I love you, Glynn.
I love you, Nick.
Love you, Nick.
I love you, Lou.
Love you.
These conversations have given me a different reset, or not a different reset, but a reset on how I am able to look at different people, in the family.
Yeah.
Because you hear this piece or you hear that piece, and you get this perspective and you get that perspective. I mean, there are other people from the outside looking in who think they know, but they give you something, you still say, what? I hadn't thought of it like that. You think you got this on lock.
Right.
And it is not. The only lock that you have is the one that's in your head. Yeah. So I am so happy that we were able to do this. And it could not have happened without you, because we could talk, but we needed one of our sisters to be willing to do it and have the courage to do it. So thank you. Well, that's the end of the podcast. It's really the end of this series for the brothers, unless Miss Whitney decides to show up. It would be great, honestly, if she did. It might not, go like I think, but it would be a good way to really tie off the impact on an entire family. So until next time, I thank my sister Louise, my big brother Glynn. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.
Da-da, da-da.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys gotta take some food.
Oh, I totally take. Oh, yay! It's only
It's almost 3 o'clock.
2:49. Oh, see, look at the difference right there.
See,
What did you
perspective.
say?
See, I was like, oh, yay! It's only 2:49. He's like, it's almost 3 o'clock.
Well, that's the end of the podcast. As I said, that's episode 16. It has been quite a journey getting through this. As I also mentioned that I would tell you about my email conversation with my mother. But once again, let me also thank my good friend Jean Bronstein. I forgot to mention up front my wife Patty, who gave you a point of view of what it was like for a spouse to watch her husband, me, go through writing the book, all of the emotional upheaval that I experienced, all the ups and downs, and also her past 40 years of watching me deal with this as a brother, the challenges, the guilt, the shame, watching me step up and handle things for my sisters. So I forgot to mention her up front that my wife Patty also has an episode in the podcast. George Kennedy, my good friend out of Arizona, Dr. Yvonne Merrill, professor of literature. My son Ben, my older brother Glynn, my dear sister, my third sister Louise, for their willingness and their courage to step up and be a part of this and share our family story in such a way that we hope it can help millions of others going forward. Now, to my mother. I had mentioned to my older brother Glynn and my sister Louise that prior to our interview, I had emailed our mother to present the opportunity for her to come on. Now, I told my mother very early in the email process that I don't expect you to do much. I really don't. You haven't done anything for 50 years, so why should anything change? But that our family story could help. It doesn't have to end in tragedy. It could be something that could help so many families. And sad to say, she is still sticking by her guns. She told me that she is not a doctor. She is not a psychiatrist. She is not here to solve the world's problems. She's not even here to help us solve our problem. Okay, fair enough. She also said that over the past 40, 50 years, no one has ever come to her to ask her to sit down and talk about what has happened. Not one of her children has ever come to her and said, we would like to talk to you about what happened. Her response was, everything that has been said has just been accusations and made up stuff. And to paraphrase one of her favorite things that she would tell us, that is simply a bold-faced lie. The opportunity for her was for her. We are moving forward, but I think she needs the conversation. She needs some sort of release. And as much as her children would like for her to come forward, she just hasn't. And I don't think she ever will. She's just too locked down in it. But she says it's not her job to help other people with this. As I said, fair enough. No, it's not her job. But boy, oh boy, did she miss a great opportunity to help a lot of children. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Thanks for enjoying the podcast. If you have any comments, please just email me at keepercw@gmail if you'd like, or just leave a comment here at the bottom. It's all good. I will let you know when the next series of podcast comes on. Oh, there is one thing you do need to know. Beginning in September, I will do 5-chapter readings of my book. I'm going to read 5 chapters to give you a feel for what it's really like and to hear from me directly. Out of my book, I will tell you this, 3 of my sisters, my older full brother and my older half brother participated. They contributed to the book. So you're getting a full family view of what this is all about. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.